Happy Sunday. We're doing our Talk to Yourself book study. So I hope everybody's had a good week. I keep hearing chimes, which is fun.
My computer.
Oh. So that's fine. It's very beautiful. So we're going to talk about chapter 6, 7, and 8. And, this book just keeps getting better and better, I think, just with the whole explaining how our mind works and how I love in chapter 6 where it's basically talking about the wall that we build in our mind and where that wall comes from, and it's basically a resistance to do what we've learned. Like we can hear all the right things to do with our plexus business or even in our personal life, and we try to implement it, but this wall of resistance comes up. And it talked about how our thoughts and our flashes from the past, they're like stored in a file cabinet. I really love that analogy about how, in that file cabinet we have all this stuff that we've been told as we were grown up, or just that we've thought about ourselves. Like, I'm too shy, I'm not organized, people don't listen to me, or, you hear all this negative, and it's in that file. And so whenever you hear something out of the box, like, that yes, you can do it, or you can achieve your dream, your little negative file box, the files that are in that box are telling yourself, no, you can't. Be realistic. You're not smart enough. You're not this and that. And so it's like a constant battle in your mind. I think I left my book in the other room. I'm pretty sure I did. Because I wrote page 49 that talked about every new thought, that basically that was talking about scanning the file cabinet. And, the brain ties new things to something you already believe. And so the more you think that way, the more you believe. And so if we're believing negative about ourselves, then, we're just adding things to that file that are negative. Or if we're thinking positive things, we're adding that. But it is true that, it's hard to change a mind, and it's hard to teach a dog new tricks, like it was saying. And I think that's true. Sometimes we get in a rut and we think certain things about ourselves. And we hear it like when we sign up a new ambassador, they always say, a lot of them, well, I'm not a salesperson. I'm too shy. And it's always fun when we can tell them, well, I wasn't a salesperson either. And I'm sure, well, I was never shy, but Amber was shy. And, so it's neat to see how we can recondition ourselves and we can build confidence to overcome those conditioning files that we've been so used to just accepting as reality. So I guess I'm going to ask you guys, what negative things have you told yourself in the past that you think now you've been able to overcome? This is where we're going to get interactive. So you can unmute yourself if you want to talk.
I think mine was that, that I wasn't good with public speaking or speaking in general, to people. That was huge for me. Because I was always not shy, not shy at all, but just didn't make the attempt to speak to someone first, where now I will. Mm-hmm. That was one of mine.
I'm shy. Well, I was shy. I felt like that was my big thing. I'm not outgoing, going and talking to you know what I mean? I've tried to overcome that a lot this past year, or not having that. I always think I'm bugging somebody.
You've come a long ways, Amber.
I'm always good about putting doubt in my head. Even I did it today still, but it's I know I could do something, but it gets scary. So I put that doubt and just hold myself back from doing it.
I was the most negative person ever. I don't think I'm that negative anymore. So.
Wow. I don't know that negative side of you. I haven't, You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, since Plexus, you've always been pretty positive.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
Yay.
I grew up very, very shy, but now I walk out of Target and I know the life story of the cashier that wrung me out.
Awesome. What about you, Rose?
I don't know if it was in this chapter. I was looking for it, but it was talking about telling yourself that you can't lose weight. Was it in this chapter? I don't remember. And I'm even just last month, I was telling myself, well, I'm going to try this diet just for a month because that's all I can handle. So I'm still working on it, on, thinking positive that I can do it.
That's good. I think that's true. It is really a battle of the mind. And, for me, like, I don't know, I think, just even like they talked about, and they talk about it in chapter 7 about in childhood, because the childhood that I had, like, there was a lot of negativity that went on. And so, and I even failed the 9th grade. I don't know if you guys knew that about me, but I did. And so I really had to, and with the help of God and godly people in my life, I was able to climb out of that negativity, but I think that did always play back in my mind, just you can't do it. You're not good enough. Your dad didn't graduate from high school. Like, so you tell yourself all this negative stuff with those files. And, thankfully I was able to overcome that. And, I had good foster parents. And so I was able to get through high school and go to college and get a degree. And so that was a huge thing to overcome. And, and I think too, my self-confidence grew during that time too, to where I can talk to people and I'm not as shy as I used to be. Like when I was younger, I was very shy also. And so I left, I don't know where it was at. Well, I can't remember now, but it said something about, social, your social, you learn your social skills. It's not like, it's conditioned, basically. It's not like you're stuck with, just because you're this personality, you can't ever get out of the box socially and talk to people and interact. And even like what Sadie said, public speaking, like I never saw myself as a public speaker, and I still honestly struggle with that a little bit. When I get up in front of people at an opportunity meeting, I'm constantly thinking about what they're thinking about me and if they're believing me and if they're, like if I'm really presenting myself well, and I'm constantly like listening to this chatter in my head. And part of that too is because, like Kevin does that for a living. Like he does slide presentations all the time for corporate, and he's very confident in that. And I still don't see myself as fully confident in that. So, but you have to just press through and practice and have those opportunities to overcome that for sure. What else? Yeah, I like the analogy about the clumsy waitress, that she had just told herself that she was clumsy. And so then, of course she dropped the tray of stuff. And yeah, I think it has huge impact on what we tell ourselves, that we become that. Okay, would anybody have anything else on chapter 6 they wanted to share before I go to 7? Since we're a small, intimate group. No. Okay, chapter 7 was about programming for our kids. And, I don't know that this was in the book, but this is one of the things I took away from the book, is that sometimes it's not even what we say, but what we don't say, that has a big impact too. And, wow, I just thought, the whole thing of what if you could believe in your kids and encourage your kids and, breathe that confidence into them, and what a difference that can make. Like on page 58 where it talked about what, imagine what you could have achieved if you had, parents or people that meant a lot to you that really encouraged you and spurred you on. And I can't help but think of Plexus because we kind of do that with each other, like, we've all come from different backgrounds and we may have thought we could never do this, or, that's fine for other people. They can be successful in a network marketing business, but that's not for me. And it's amazing to see the friendships and the people that we know that have been successful. And so that gives us hope and confidence that we can do that too, which I really think is great. So the mind pretty much just believes what it's told. So it doesn't even matter if it's true. You're going to believe what you're telling yourself. And so that's very true, because we can be told negative things that aren't even true, but after a while we believe it, right? So the same works for positive. And I don't know, I think sometimes we maybe we weren't told that growing up, like you're never going to amount to anything, but maybe we felt it or we thought it. And I think a lot of times people have labels, like, well, you're not athletic, or you're not smart, or you're not popular, or you're not funny. And I think that's how we have to just really break the cycle of that, because sometimes it's generational. Sometimes it is that negativity from our parents. And we have to just break that cycle and overcome it, and not, be tempted to do that with our own kids. I don't know if any of you could relate with that chapter with parenting.
I completely related to that chapter.
Yeah. Okay, expand on that, Lori. We're also quiet tonight.
Well, John came in the door. Sorry.
All right. They're done.
Okay, I'll be in a few. You catch yourself sometimes, when you're talking to your kids and you're like, because it can be totally something negative that's coming out of your mouth, and you just, I've done it probably this weekend. But it really does make you think, about those things.
It's true. I think like Amber's lucky because she has little girls. They're all young, I think it's like, because I have teenagers and little kids, but I know that some of the things that have come out of my mouth towards my older two, and even the younger ones, but are not always positive, and so instead of just, and then you can be guilty of, in your mind, saying, I'm such a bad mom. Why did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. I've made horrible mistakes. How's she ever going to forgive me? You can beat yourself up with the negativity.
Right.
So I think that this study is so great, not just with our business, but in our own personal lives. And they say that, leadership, you want to be learning how to grow in your own relationships too, before you can really lead a team. And that was one thing too that I had wrote in my notes somewhere. I don't know if I wrote it around here or the next chapter, but a lot of Jules will say, sometimes you get stuck in a rank because you need to grow personally. And I think that's very true. I think sometimes God has a way of slowing us down. And because we need to watch our conversation. I don't know, I wrote page 60. I don't know what's on page 60. It's not on my book. But, you have to watch your conversation. And one of the assignments I'm going to do at the end of this for next week is to have your husband and your children kind of let you know if they feel like you're being a negative person or a positive person. It's kind of going to be hard to hear, I think, for me. Because I can be kind of a negative nag at times. But I think that's good for us to kind of have that reality and that self-reflection of, okay, they say, whatever person thinks and whatever is in their heart is overflowing out of their mouth. And I think that's true. If we're being negative with ourselves, then we're overflowing that to others. When we watch our conversation, we should be asking ourselves, am I always complaining? Am I always talking about my problems? Is there always uncertainty? Or am I always, promoting the positive and being uplifting and encouraging? Am I talking about my dreams and my goals? And that's the kind of person I think we all want to strive to be. And I think as Plexus leaders, that's really important to have people following and duplicating what you're doing. They're going to be more drawn to a positive person than a negative person. Sure.
And on the last page of this chapter where it talks about, we always learn to believe the worst first and the best last. I think that's really true.
Yeah. Very true. Okay, we are moving right along.
Well, some of these chapters were pretty short.
They are. So do we need to do more chapters? I don't know. Maybe. Or not. Okay,
A lot of
behavior.
conviction that I have a lot to work on.
What'd you say, Amber?
I said I just have a lot of conviction. I have a lot I need to work on.
Girl, we all do. I'm telling you. It's true. And I think, yeah, when you read this book, it's eye-opening. It really is. It's not an easy study to read because you really are opening yourself up and reflecting and it's challenging you to change things, really, and yeah. So, okay, chapter 8, behavior. Okay, I wrote this out because it was funny when I read through this and it was talking about behavior, feelings, attitude, belief, programming, like I kind of wrote it out and did an arrow down with all that stuff. And then I realized, oh no, wait, really it's going backwards. It's like the cycle was opposite of what I thought. And so that was really interesting. So I wrote this out just so I could keep it straight in my head. Behavior is the result about how we feel about things. And how we feel about things is the result of our attitude. And our attitude is the result of our beliefs, and our beliefs come from our programming. That's kind of interesting. It's like our programming comes first, and then our belief, and then our attitude, and then how we feel about things indicate our behavior, what comes out of all that. I thought that was just it all made sense, but it was just fascinating how they put that into the book. Some takeaways was just that, good things happen. Well, you can either think good things happen accidentally or nothing happens by accident. Which one do you guys think?
I don't think anything happens by accident. I think things happen for a reason.
I think I'm a big believer in that too. I think if you have a faith in God, you kind of believe that, like things are planned out and things happen, and it's sometimes out of our control, and sometimes it's good things, sometimes it's not so good things. But I like too what they said about most of what happens to you happens because of you. Like a lot of times we create our own destiny with the choices we make and things we allow in our lives. And, it's not like it accidentally happened most of the time. It's what we created. And whether we succeed or we fail, we can't really blame other people. That's really on us. That's where I wrote about, Plexus. It's like, people will say, like some people just want to quit and give up, right? And they're like, well, maybe I didn't work hard enough. Maybe I didn't try hard enough. Maybe I didn't believe hard enough. But I don't really think any of that's necessarily true. I mean, it can be, definitely. If you're not working your business hard enough, then you're not going to succeed. But sometimes it's like, you have to get to that point where you want it more than anything and you're not going to give up. And you have to be open to what God's going to teach you along the way. And it may not be the same timeline that you had planned or that you wanted. But a lot of that's going to depend, again, on how you feel about it. It starts there with, what's my belief? How do I feel? Do I feel like I can do it? What am I telling myself? Am I being positive or negative? And we all have negative moments. Everybody has bad days. But if you're consistently trying to stay positive and working your business and doing all the right things, then I really do think anybody can do it. So I took some notes about behavior. Or why don't I just ask you guys, what do you think about behavior? What kind of little nuggets did you take out of that? And what did you learn about behavior? Actually, let's go backwards. Let's talk about what you learned about programming, which we've learned a lot about that already, but in that chapter. What do you think is important to have programmed in your brain to be successful with Plexus?
I can do it, mostly.
It goes with the beliefs of having belief in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just the being positive.
I mean, you have to overcome what other people tell you, because there's people out there rooting for you to fail too. So it's overcoming that, even if they don't say it. I mean, we all have those people in our lives that don't want us to succeed and are waiting for us to fail, and we have to prove them wrong and overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with network marketing, it's been harder for us. Like in our realm, it's hard. Not harder for us, but we have that challenge more. Because there's so many people that don't believe in network marketing, and there's so many people that just think you're going to fail because they've tried it before and it didn't work, so then you're going to fail at it. So I think that's a big thing to overcome.
It's true. Sometimes they're in your own family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
I feel like my family is almost, this sounds horrible, not my extended family is my worst enemy right now, because some of them have had really bad experiences with multi-level marketing companies. And I feel like they probably picked up the phone and say, hey, you're going to get a call from Lisa really soon, but let me warn you, you don't want to get involved in, that company. So
Chris and Susie were actually just talking about something like that when they were here on Friday. They said, the whole Amway thing, which I'm not real familiar with, but said that one of my ambassadors did the Amway and they got burnt. So he already came into Plexus with a bad attitude about multi-level marketing because of whatever happened with Amway. But so yeah, I think that too. They get in that, it's a multi-level marketing thing, it's never going to work, or they got burnt or whatever. So yeah, they come in with, they're not going to do it because they've been screwed before. So
yeah, there's such negativity. My parents, they did a little bit of Amway. They never made any money. Their brother, my mom's brother, did. I think he was even a gem or a jewel, I'm not sure. But they were in it and they never really made any money. And so, they're just negative about the whole deal. And like literally they were like, my brother, I guess, was talking to my mom about, he Googled and looked up the Lexus plan. And she's like, so that's just a lease and you have to lease it. And what if you don't rank one month and you lose it? I mean, just like all this negativity instead of just being happy for me that I was earning it, and I was like, Mom, Plexus isn't going anywhere. Like, this is a real legitimate, company, and I'm doing, like, she couldn't just be happy for me that I was doing well, and so, because it's just out of their, they've seen so much negativity and people that didn't make money in the other MLMs, and So yeah, you definitely grow thick skin with this business, definitely. But yeah, the belief is really huge. I think you have to have the belief in yourself. I think that's really key. You know, absolutely. Okay, and then that's our next word is belief, which determines our attitude about it, creates our feelings, directs our actions, helps us do well or poorly. I think, I know for me and Amber, well, for me at convention for sure, really, really, really secured my belief in Plexus and what it could be. And then I know, I'm not going to speak for Amber, but I think Leaders Retreat, right? So,
Leaders Retreat was mine.
yeah, so I'm super excited that 4 of you on here, which is awesome, are going to convention. And it's just going to be amazing to build your belief and the training that you get there. All right, so then attitude. Attitude's a good one.
That changes from day to day.
I thought you had a good attitude every day, Jennifer.
I do, but there's some days that are rougher than others. Which is when things aren't going like how you're expecting it to, or
Like
it's falling apart.
Line somebody up and it didn't work.
Yeah, and there's days it's just like, okay, I mean, not that I want to quit or anything like that, but it just puts more of a sour taste in your mouth that day than versus, the others.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you joined pretty much when the back office stuff was pretty much coming to an end. It was getting way better when you joined. Like some of us were in this when the back office thing was a debacle and we were on the phone every day, right, Amber? Right, Lori?
Yeah.
Every day for hours.
Sadie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not to forget Sadie. Sorry, Sadie. Yeah, I know you
That's okay.
lots.
I would have liked to have been forgotten during that time.
You joined during that time. That's what's
I
amazing.
joined in August, so I got like the good part of it, and then it was like October, the bottom fell out. So
True.
Done?
what?
Sorry.
Oh,
I'll be right back. I gotta go check the chicken that's in the oven.
that's fine. We'll excuse you. Yeah. No, I mean, I think too, though, like, I watched a video one time with Sarah Marble, and she was talking about how this was the second back office redo, like she went through the first one and then she was going through the second one. And so she'd gone through some hectic, crazy times with Plexus. And so she knew that this was just going to be another crazy time. Now, this crazy time lasted a whole lot longer and way longer than it should have. But, we all got through it. And a lot of us promoted during that time, even in the midst of it being chaotic and crazy. So, I think that, our attitude is a big part of it. And I will tell you the truth, like, there were times during that back office change that I called Christine and I messaged Susie, and I sounded like a big freaking baby. I mean, I honestly did. Like, there's one message I left that Susie didn't message me back for a while. I'm sure because she was like, what the heck is wrong with that? I think I was a senior Ruby at the time, she was probably thinking, she's not acting like a future Jewel, because I was negative. I was totally negative. It was like stressful, when you're spending hours on the phone trying to figure out what the heck happened to their order that got lost, It was really bad, Lisa, really bad. I'm glad you didn't have to go through that. Or did you? I don't know. Maybe you did a little, because you've been with Plexus a while.
I came in like kind of at the tail end. They're having all the shipping issues and everything like that when I came in still.
Yeah. And I know Lisa had a little bit of that too, right?
Yeah, I did. My shipments got lost. It never even made it here. But they made up for it at the store. They were wonderful. They gave me all these free products.
Oh,
They were great.
yeah, I mean, the truth is it was chaotic and it was crazy, but a lot of times they really made it right. I had one girl that this was towards the end of the debacle, they sent her the wrong order, And so then, they'd sent her the wrong thing. And so then they resent it to her, like FedEx, which it cost $100 to do FedEx. And they sent it to her, and it still took a couple days or something, because I think it was over a weekend. But she finally got it. And then, like, 2 days later, she got another one. So she ended up with, like, a ton she didn't need. But
Well, that's what happened to one of my girls too. They sent her like 4 orders. So she's been turned off since she signed on because she doesn't need anything. So she's like, I'm not turning my back order on. I don't need anything. So
I know.
like, that's 5 points for me.
Yeah, that's when it stinks, because it hurt us. But yeah, I don't know.
I think she's got to be running out pretty soon. So hopefully she'll turn back on.
Yeah, good. That's good. All right. Well, okay. So attitude. We were just talking about my pity party. Amber, like some of my messages I left for Susie and Christine were pretty irate, and they've since forgiven me, I think. But all right. So feelings, have such a huge part with everything. Like even as far as just reaching out to somebody or following up. If you're having a grumpy day, you don't feel like it. I mean, that makes or breaks things. I think it's a huge part of our success or failure. What else? What else you guys got on feelings? I'm going to sing the song. But I don't sing well.
Negative comment.
Huh?
So that's a negative comment. You can't say that. No.
Oh, you're right. See how easily it is to do.
I know.
What did you say?
I said I don't sing well. I would sing the song feelings, but yeah, I do it all the time. Though I do I can't get anything done. I can't, you constantly are saying stuff to yourself. So it's interesting to have this study to now we're more aware of it. So, all right, behavior. So the feelings end up causing the behavior totally. And with our behavior, the reason we don't do what we should do in our behavior is because of our feelings. It's all linked to that. And our daily activity and our actions. It's true, like they talked about just like kids in school, if they don't feel like they can do it, they don't feel confident, they're not going to do well in school. We're the same way. If we don't feel like we can do it, like we can sponsor an ambassador this month, then we probably won't. That whole, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Feel.
This chapter seemed very reflective, I think, for me. Just the steps and how it all kind of comes together. I just felt like it was just, it's just interesting to have it laid out, in front of you.
Right. Well, especially, I think if you kind of think things just accidentally happen. Well, this proves it completely wrong that things don't accidentally happen.
Right.
And I don't know. It is interesting because I know that people think sometimes people that are successful in Plexus fast, they're just lucky, they just, whatever. And some people to an extent are just lucky, but I think for the most part, people, their programming, their belief, their attitude, their feelings, their behavior is all related, just like it's the same, to cause success or not so much.
Right.
Because we all know negative people who are not being successful in Plexus, and it has a lot to do with their mentality and what they're telling themselves. So I just applaud all of you who are doing this study and going through the book so that you can reprogram your brain and you can retrain it to have success. Because Because, yeah, I mean, you look at people like Sonia Dudley and Helen McFadden who are doing this study and who recommended this book. I mean, they've been very successful. And I think a lot of their success has had to do with the fact that they are happy, positive people. And so they're really good role models for us, definitely. So tell me, I'm just curious, who in your life has helped you improve your belief in yourself?
My husband, for sure.
Ditto.
In what way? You need to expand on that. How has your husband helped you with your belief?
Because, I mean, even now, like my mom and all that kind of stuff, they're always negative and everything like that. So that's just kind of how I've always been. But he believes in me and all that stuff. So it just helps build your self-confidence and self-esteem, and reiterates what you're doing is a good thing.
He's your biggest cheerleader for this, right?
Always, yep.
Even doing it.
Not just in Plexus and everything, so.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Lisa, how is your husband helped you with your belief?
Yeah, he knows all that I've had to overcome and the kind of household I grew up in. And so he's always there trying to switch my thought process around from negative to positive so that I do truly believe that I can do something, accomplish something. I grew up in a household where when the going got tough, you quit. So that's something I've had to overcome.
I love your why, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
No, it was very inspiring, and I'm just so excited to see what God is going to do in your life over the next year, even. Right?
Me too.
So,
yeah. Slow start, but we'll get there.
you will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Your husband's awesome too. He's great.
Yes, he's sitting right next to me.
I'm just encouraging. No.
We can have man basketball.
Talking. No.
Awesome. Okay.
My husband, Dennis, is mine too. He's always believed in me, and I never did. And then even like now through Plexus, like every day, he's like, I always believed in you. He's like, I've always known that you're going to be more successful than me. And just being a stay-at-home mom doing nothing, I never believed that. So, but in his heart, he truly does. Like, I know it's not just words coming out of his mouth. Like, I know in his heart he did believe that. Does believe that.
No.
Okay, Rose or Lori, who wants to go?
My husband as well. Same situation as Lisa with my husband knows my family situation, and he's always encouraging me, and he will tell me when I'm negative. So yeah, I'd have to say my husband.
You're going to say husband too, Lori?
Yeah, he is pretty supportive of me. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think my husband too. I think first it was my foster family, though, huge, because I'd come from such a negative background, and they helped me with that belief. But Kevin is too. I mean, in some ways, he's very left brain and analytical, so sometimes that comes across as negative. But I mean, and sometimes I've had a fun time, like, kind of proving him wrong, like with Plexus. But pretty early on, he saw, right, when I started getting paid and growing a team, he saw, and he was very supportive, and then was like, wow, this is like, I think you were meant to do this kind of thing, you know? So he definitely cheers me on and helps me see the positive side now, for sure. So, yay for husbands. All right, so the homework assignment that we're going to do is, continue with your own personal affirmations. And then the other one I want you to do is work on verbalizing positive affirmations like verbalizing them, like saying this, telling your children and your spouse, your husband, positive things. I think that's a good, kind of feeds off chapter 7 and talking about dealing with our kids. And sometimes our husbands can be like kids, sorry. So we need to work on being positive with them. I think that's just a really good activity for all of us to work on. And we are going to take next week off because we're going to be, a lot of us are going to be at convention. So we're not going to do the Zoom Sunday night, but we'll follow up the following week, and we'll probably just do another 3 chapters, unless you guys want to go to 4 chapters. No, 3. All right. All right, well, thank you for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording, and everybody have a great 2 weeks, and we'll be back after convention, which is going to be so exciting. Yay.
Very excited.